Hi, good day, everyone. So today we'll be doing January 2024, number 1. So the first question says, all working must be shown clearly. So you can use a calculator to check it over, but you need to show your working, right? It says 1 subtract open bracket 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15 close bracket. We always use BODMAS. Right, but mass tells us the order in which we're supposed to carry out an operation. So brackets first, so the brackets is 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15. Right, denominators are different, right? So we have to find the LCM. With practice, you can see the LCM is 30, but we'll just show you how to find LCM. We have 30 and 15. You're going to use your smallest prime number that could go into at least one of these numbers. That is 2. 2 into 13 is 2 into 30, sorry, is 15. 2 into 15 cannot, so you bring it down. Then 2 cannot go into 15, so we go into our next prime number. What's the next prime number? That's 3. 3 into 15 is 5. 3 into 15 is 5. 3 cannot go into 15, so you go to the next, sorry, 3 cannot go into 5, so you go to the next prime number, which is 5. You get 1, 1. Once you get 1, 1 at the end, your LCM is you multiply these prime numbers. 2 3s are 6, 6 5s are 30. Then you compare your denominator with your LCM. How many times can 30 go into 30? 1, so you multiply the numerator of that fraction by 1. So 1 by 1 is 1, plus, how much times 15 could go into 30? 15 could go into 30 2 times, so you multiply the fraction, that numerator of that fraction by 2. 4 2s are 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. So you're going to have 1 subtract 9 over 30. If we remember, and now guys, if you are not sure if that is correct, you can use a calculator. Put 1 over 30, right, minus 4 over 15, right? Sorry, what? Not subtract, it's add. 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15, right? Well, they reduce it, right? It's not 9 over 30. Could be reduced. You can say 3 could go into 9 3 times, and 3 could go into 30 10 times. So you'll get 3 over 10. So it's now 1 minus 3 over 10. What we do know is, listen, this 1, you could either put it 1 over 1 minus 3 over 30, find the LCM and all that, or you convert your whole number to a fraction. And by how do we do that? We look at the denominator of the next fraction. It's 10. So this 1 will now turn to 10 over 10. And 10 over 10 is a whole. 10 over 10 minus 3 over 10 is equal to 7 over 10. So what is the answer? 7 over 10, right? And you can also do this on your calculator. You're going to put in your calculator 1 subtract open bracket 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15 close bracket, press equal, you get 7 over 10. So you know that 7 over 10 is indeed correct. That is 2 marks right there. Part B now is a worded question. Let's read it. A 2-story car park has a total of 1,020 parking spaces. At 6:30 one morning, I'm going to underline, this is how we do these questions, right? 1/30th of 120 spaces are filled, right? The next hour, no cars left. So we know that there's no cars leaving the parking lot. But they fill it up with 4/15 of 120 spaces are filled. But another 4/15, that is correct. You need to read carefully, right? They said another 4/15 of 120 spaces are filled. Determine the number of parking spaces that are not filled. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out the values of what we underlined there. We're going to find out what is 1 over 30 multiplied by 1020. What is 1 over 30 multiplied by that? You can use a calculator. 1 over 30 multiplied by 1020 is 634. So instead of, you put in 34 here, right? You're going to fill it, instead of reading it as 1 over 30, of that you're going to say, instead of that, we'll cross out that. Right? And we're going to say a two-story car park has a total of 1,030 parking spaces. At 6 or 6:30 hours one morning, 34 spaces are filled. Right? During the next hour, no cars left the parking, but another 4 over 15. So 4 over 15 multiplied by 1020 over 1, right? So we can do that. That's 4 over 15 multiplied by 1020 is 272. This is equal to 272. So we could say total filled would be 34 plus 272, right? That's 306. So if 306 parking spaces are filled, then not filled, that's what they're asking for. Not filled would be a total, which is 1,020 minus 306, right? And you're going to get 740. And that is how much parking spaces were not filled for Part B. Now, there's another way that you could have done this by using the answer that you had above here, right? Where if you look at it, 4 over 30 plus, so would it be, not filled would actually be 7/10. If you look at it, 1 over 30 plus 4 over 15 is how much was filled, and then you subtract it from your whole. So 7 over 10 is not filled. You could have just said 7 over 10 multiplied by 1020. You could multiply 7 over 10 multiplied by 1020 is 714. That is probably why this is 1 mark. If you recognize that this worded question is actually the shorter version, the longer version of this question on top here. Because they use the same fractions, 1 over 30, 4 over 15, right? 1 over 30 and 4 over 15 would be how much filled, and 1 minus how much is filled would be how much not filled, right? And we would get a fraction of what is not filled, and just multiply it by 1020. And that is how you would have done Part B. Let's look at Part C. On the 1,020 parking spaces, of the 1,020 parking spaces, 20% on the top level. How many parking spaces on the top level? You simply say top level. Now there are 2 ways to do this. If you read the question, they said 20% are on the top level. What is the top level? I mean, 20% of what? 20% of 1,020. So that would be 20 over 100 multiplied by 1020 over 1. This 1, this 5, 1, that's 2, 0, remainder 2, 204. So we know that 204 would be on your top level. Right, the next way is what we know, the if then therefore method. If 100% is equal to, I'll do it very quickly. If 100% is equals to 1020, then 1% would be 1020 divided by 100, and therefore 20% would be 1020, I'm saying 1020, 1020 over 100 multiplied by 20 over 1, same thing, cross out this, 102 multiplied by 2 is 204, you'll get the same answer, right? Whichever method you're comfortable with, you can do it. D says some of the spaces are reserved for monthly paying customers. The ratio of reserve, so we're going to write that. It's reserve R to non-reserve, so we'll just put NR, right, is 5 to 7. So we know reserve is 5 parts and non-reserve is 7 parts. So what is your total? Your total would be 5 plus 7, which is equal to 12. So we know 12 parts is equal to your total, right? 12 parts is equal to the total number of spaces we have for parking, which is 1020. So if 12 parts is equal to 1020, then one part would be 1020 divided by 12. And therefore, this is so little space, but therefore, how many parts we want to try for? Non-reserve, and non-reserve is 7 parts. Therefore, 7 parts would be 1020 over 12 multiplied by 7 over 1. Right, let's do that. That's 1020 divided by 12. That's 85. 85 multiplied by 7. So non-reserve, when we multiply it, use a calculator to multiply it, the answer is 595. So 595 would be non-reserve parking spaces. Let's do E. The cost of parking at the car park is shown in the table below. Michaela leaves the car park at 18:20 hours, right? And pay. Now, when we say 18:20, that's 24 hours clock, right? First off, 18:20 is in the evening, right? And pays $9.25. We look for where we have 9.25. So we know that anything more than 8 hours and up to 8 hours, you'll be charged $9.25. Determine the earliest time she could have arrived at the car park. So when they say determine the earliest time she could arrive at the car park, that they are asking you, was the longest time she could have stayed, and it would cost her $9.25. That would be 8 hours before this time. So basically what you're going to do, so the earliest time would be 18:30, which is the time she left. 18:30 minus 8 hours, 800. So the earliest time she could have arrived in the car park would have been 10:30 in the morning, or 10:30 hours, right? And that would be your answer here. For this question, you just need to read carefully and see what they're asking you. Saying that determine the earliest time she could have arrived at the car park, not the latest time. That would be the shortest amount of time she would be charged for, which would be 4 hours. But they said the earliest time she could arrive at the car park, which would have been 10:30. Right, bought a weekly parking ticket for $40. That week, he visited the car park 5 different times. The length of time he parked his car on each occasion is given below. Show that Danraj saved $8.50 by buying the weekly ticket. Here, the first time here is 25 minutes. That would have been free, because anything under 30 minutes is free. So this is free. This is if he did not buy his weekly ticket, right? Free. 7.5 hours, that would have been $9.25. They said 4 hours up to 8 hours. So this here would have been $9.25. 11 hours, that would have been more than 8 hours and up to 24 hours. That is $15, right? $8.34. Sorry, yeah, 8.75 hours. That is anything. It's 3/4 hours more. So more than 8, right? So it is being charged $15, and 8 hours again would be $9.25. Right? So if he did not buy his weekly ticket and he had to pay for each day, so day 1, right, was free. Day 2 is $9.25. Day 3 is $15. All right, let me just go down so I could have space. Day 4 is also $15. And day 5 is $9.25. So when you add all of this up, you're going to get 25 and 25 cents is 50, right? Then 9 and 9 is 18, 18 and 10 is 28. So 28 outside here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So if he paid for each day, it would be $48.50. However, they said on the chart you can pay for 1 week ticket of $40. So the amount saved would be, if he had to pay daily, it would have cost $48.50, but he bought a $40 ticket for the entire week. So when we subtract that, you see that he saved $8.50, and that is how you would do part 2. Right, and that is the end of January 2024, number 1.